If you want the tension cranked up to 11, then watch The Guilty. It's available on Netflix. It's based on a Danish film of the same name, and it was recommended to me by my brother and his girlfriend. The two of them also have a YouTube channel of their own about their journey around the nation in their RV, so go check out their content. I'll put a link down in the description below. So this film is a remake starring Jake Gyllenhaal, Riley Keough, I hope I pronounced that right, Ethan Hawke, and Peter Sarsgaard. On the surface, this film focuses on an LA 911 operator who talks a family through a very horrible predicament. However, below the surface, this film focuses on a man embracing the truth. The sad, horrible truth. Gyllenhaal plays Joe Baylor, a 911 operator who gets this peculiar phone call one night from this woman named Emily, who seemingly has been abducted by her husband, Henry. As a 911 operator, Joe is smart. He attempts to calm down an overwrought Emily, having her disguise their conversations as conversations with her distressed child, in order to not draw attention to her husband. Much of the film consists of Joe talking to Emily, Henry, their daughter Abby, and a whole host of characters, attempting to de-escalate the situation. In the process, Joe realizes that this scenario isn't so cut and dry, as the audience realizes that Joe isn't so cut and dry. Wildfires are important to this story. They are devastating LA. And Joe cannot get air support to find the van Emily is in. Cops are bombarded with calls due to wildfire accidents that Joe cannot get cops to go look out for Emily's two young children home alone. This causes Joe to become increasingly frustrated, forcing him to deal with the situation on his own for the most part. Now, Jake Gyllenhaal, who is an amazing actor, pulls off a very tough role in this film. Pretty much the entirety of the film takes place in the 911 call center, with the dialogue being phone communications. Because of this, the film feels very confined. There's many lingering close-up shots that maintain this claustrophobic atmosphere. It's a nail-biter of a film. Director Anton Fuqua keeps you on the edge of your seat with good camera work. For example, showing Joe's unease by way of him constantly clutching at his inhaler during stressful, tense moments. Gyllenhaal doesn't have much to work with. His intense focus and commitment to his character has to carry the film. There's no physicality to his role. It's merely his facial expressions and his communication. And boy, does he carry the film. Gyllenhaal's performance is damn good, on par with some of his other tense roles like Nightcrawlers or Prisoners. It turns out that Emily is actually a patient at a psychiatric facility who was off her meds and therefore did something really bad to her young son Oliver. And Henry was really attempting to bring her back to this facility for treatment, not kidnapping her with the intent to harm her. Initially, it seems as if Henry was the one in the wrong and Emily was the victim, but Henry was really just trying to help his wife. It's a decent twist, but I see it as Joe's personal emotions blinding him to deducing the truth of the situation, like a member of law enforcement should be able to do. You could argue it's about a man who wants to punish people, especially criminals, or at least who he perceives to be a criminal. However, I look at this film as more of a waning meditation on coming to terms with something horrible. In the case of this film, Joe killed a young man while on duty, not because he had to, but because his anger got the best of him, sort of like it did with this situation with Henry and Emily. Initially, he plans on going to court to defend his innocence, even ignoring reporters who call for his side of the story. He's scared. He has a daughter that he will never see again if he's found guilty. It's only when he gets involved in this situation with Henry and Emily that he eventually embraces his guilt. It takes him realizing that Emily did something horrible to her son and eventually about to do something horrible to herself to admit that he actually killed someone. He tells Emily she's loved by her family, and this works. The only way to save Emily and her family is to sacrifice his potential innocence. That's an ending. I believe this is why the film takes place in one location, with one character being the focus. This film never cuts to Emily, Henry, Abby, or anyone else really. It's really trying to explore Joe's inner demons amidst other tragedies and wrongdoings. The film forces you to embrace Joe, as Joe is compelled to do the same. Thank you all so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe to the channel. I'd be more than appreciative if you did. Have a great day. Take care, everybody. Stay safe.